how do we challenge them? And the other group that we have to really look at are the people who are perpetuating the violence. We have to get those people, because if we are to protect our people during the vote, we have to know who is who, right up to village level. And the people, when you talk to them, they know the information, but we collectively have to have it in the back of our mind, so that if we are to carry out the protest vote, we are going to have to somehow see how do we surround these people, not physical surrounding, but how do we counter their activity. So we need that information, and those of you who have access to people on the ground or who have the technical knowledge, please, we need that support. And then for Northern Uganda, for example, we are talking about 9,000 polling stations. So that's a lot of human resource. So what we have decided what we have thought about as our group is that how we move from family level to the polling station, and then combining those polling stations into what would be like an election hub or a protest hub, so that all the information we have, if we are messaging to that hub, and then to the individual families. So thank you so much. We are going to do this.
Thank you so much. Another round of applause for thank you, Comrade Mary, and your group that compiled that letter. Another Uganda, that topic is very pertinent to me. My mother comes from the north, and hearing that, it's really showing that there is a plan to go back home. It's very unfortunate that there is a stretch that comes from Soroti to Abil district. It's about 100 miles. I don't know if any of us here has been there. But personally, I've been there. It's like 2-hour drive. But we used to drive for 8 hours to get to Abil district. And at least sometimes they say, when they speak about gerrymandering, because in Uganda, if you add all the MPs from the western part of the region, they beat all the MPs from the north, the central, and the east. So even though we all said we are in parliament, we are voting all the 3 blocks against western, they can still beat us in the election in the house, at the plenary. So that was intentional. I've been to all the regions. When you go in the east, you can drive big stretches and you don't see people there. But you know why? It's most of the counties and districts. You find people coming to parliament with 7,000 votes, and you have Chameleone in Kampala in parliament right now with 75,000. You have our comrade Jaden, comrade Narcola, is in parliament with over 20,000 votes. But back in the western part of the country, 3,000 votes, and someone's member of parliament. That's a mockery. In America, every election, they will count the population, then they will petition, if need be, the members and representatives of the House. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we shall take questions later after the discussion. I can see there are questions popping out. But thank you so much for that plan from the National Unity Platform. Ladies and gentlemen, now I'm seeing ministers here discussing stuff. I don't know. I'm seeing ministers discussing. You know the challenge we have? Instead of being 80 years old, we all think that a minister should be 70. That's what we think. If you ask for membership in Uganda and you're 30 years old, they say, because they expect someone to be 60 years, 65 to be a member of parliament. That is so unfortunate. The youngest MP here in America, thank you, Doctor. Yeah, the youngest MP in America is Maxwell Frost. He's only 28 years old. He's in the Congress. And no, that's no news. It doesn't surprise anyone that he's in Congress. But in most of the Commonwealth, we know one in Yaka or MP. And that's the barrier that we have to really put to an end. So, thank you so much, Comrade Mary. And I think, as advised by Dr., we can take the questions, one to three, then there will be answered later.
Thank you so much. I wish to thank the presenters. I wanted to, first of all, I think we need real-time data to be able to tackle the issues in any region, because we didn't mention any data or statistics. Uganda, I know, has 35 districts, and it has 7 million people. But I wanted to advise all the presenters that we need real-time data if we are to tackle the issues in any region. Having said that, I wanted to know the role of the local district offices which we are opening up, because we are looking for allies, we are looking for ways of working within an area. So I know that no opened up offices, district offices or localized offices. So how are they functional? How are we going to link up with these offices?
Yeah, thank you, Mama. Thank you so much. I think we'll have a session whereby all the discussants here have to come and speak about and reply those questions. So please don't hesitate to raise your hand and put forward a question for those who are going to be presenting. So, ladies and gentlemen, Mama, thank you for that question. I think it's taken, will be answered later. We have our comrade from the Great Massachusetts, the Eastern Coast, who's going to be discussing. We have Comrade Mr. Abraham and Comrade Blessing of please come through so that we hear from you guys. Because of this conversation, I'm getting a chance to meet a lot of people. Comrade Abraham, please come through. We've been on the phone for over 2 years, and I've never met this gentleman. But a very committed fighter, a very committed soldier, and I know these are the young people that I really want to get involved. Thank you so much. Because Muchimani says, very young people, Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Blessing Wafula. A little bit about me. I'm a freshman at UMass Boston, and I would like to present my paper that I wrote on corruption in Uganda and what we can do to change that. So, to start off, I would like to talk about how a government rooted in corruption is ultimately a self-destructive system. It erodes its trust and it fails to serve its citizens. And often it relies on fear and force to maintain control. We've seen a lot of those factors play into the Uganda over past elections, and we have seen how the government has failed to serve its people and is instead using them for their own personal gain. In the United States, you see that there's multiple safeguards and checks and balances that are designed to reduce corruption in leadership. We see that in presidential elections here, they involve campaigning on policies and beliefs, engaging voters, and fundraising within transparent rules. We also see that presidents are elected indirectly through the Electoral College and solely not by popular vote. And we also see strict term limits, only 2 4-year terms allowed. These structures are meant to prevent power but President Museveni has been in power for many, many years, longer than I've been alive, and his prolonged leadership is not a true reflection of what the people would like, honestly. His rule has been plagued by repeated allegations of corruption, repression, and election manipulation as well. So the second thing I'd like to touch on is the mismanagement of public resources that we see with this government. Museveni's government has faced persistent criticism for misusing national resources. Foreign aid, government budgets, and funds meant for public projects often never reach the intended beneficiaries. Allegations include large sums of money siphoned into private accounts of government officials, embezzle and misallocation in the sectors like health. There's a huge lack of medical supplies and understaffed facilities. We see that in hospitals in Uganda, they do not have the adequate care that the people would need, and this is all due to the government failing its people. We see education is also very, very poorly maintained. Having family in Uganda, having been in Uganda for a little bit, I see that if your kid's not in private school, they most likely won't get like good education, which kind of it keeps the people oppressed. Not having education does not allow people to be knowledgeable in what's going on, and it keeps the people oppressed. We see poor infrastructure and terrible public works, all because the government is using its people instead of serving them. Lastly, on the session, I'd like to say that citizens are also excluded from budget and financial decisions. This exclusion means that people have no voice in how the money that belongs to them and should be going to them is being used, even though it directly impacts their quality of life. The lack of transparency in government contracts. Museveni's administration often awards major government contracts without competitive bidding. He frequently, these contracts go to family members of Museveni, close political allies, businesses with strong political connections. This keeps people oppressed because people cannot often branch out into entrepreneurship and do different things because their government keeps them down. And this practice is sometimes normalized culturally by using public office to benefit one's family or community. It's not widely challenged. The consequences of these include inflated project costs due to lack of competition. We see low quality public services such as roads, hospitals, utilities, and legitimate companies without political ties are locked out of opportunities, reinforcing economic inequality. The fourth thing I'd like to touch on is political patronage and elite capture. Museveni's power is maintained through a network of loyalty rather than demographic accountability. Political patronage, high-ranking positions given to people based on loyalty, personal ties, not qualifications, public support, and in return, these officials protect Museveni's power and keep him where he is today. Officials often misuse state resources such as military and police funding for personal enrichment and political control. Government funds are regularly channeled into buying votes in rural areas such as northern Uganda that we just touched on, and funding pro-Museveni rallies, also suppressing opposition activity. The 2021 election is a case study that we can use to see how this has played out in recent years. The opposition candidate, President Chameleone Robert, he is a popular musician turned into politician, became a serious threat to Museveni's hold on power back in recent years. His campaign appealed to the youth and economically struggling population. Leading up to the election, supporters faced violent clashes with security forces. Mr. Chameleone was arrested in November of 2020 and reportedly beaten, it sparked nationwide protests. The government's response was military and police crackdowns. Many were killed, many were beaten, and it was a very oppressive time in Uganda. There was internet shutdowns and media restrictions to control information flow. Social media blocked out to present opposition to organizing. And on election day, which was January 14, 2021, widespread reports of voter intimidation. There was allegations of ballot staffing and tampering. Polling stations ran by Museveni loyalists. And the outcome was Museveni was declared the winner. And Mr. Chameleone rejected the results, rightfully so, and claiming fraud. He filed a petition with the Supreme Court and was dismissed for lack of merit. And in reality, judiciary has been heavily influenced by the ruling regime. Once again, touching on to how people put in those places of power are loyalists to Museveni. The sixth thing I'd like to touch on is supporters' perspectives on Museveni. Despite the corruption allegations, many Ugandans, especially the wealthy elite, they support Museveni because they said that he has brought stability after years of civil war and political unrest. They credit him with economic growth and improved infrastructure. Uganda enjoys relative peace compared to neighboring nations facing civil wars. And a critical note is much of this peace comes from military suppression and intimidation caused by the government. Supporters are often insulted from the daily struggles caused by corruption. 7. Why is changing this so hard? Corruption in Uganda is deeply embedded in the political and economic systems. As you can see, when Mr. Chameleone tried to bring about change by shedding light on how the election was not accurate, he was turned away by the Supreme Court instead of having it acknowledged as he should have. And seeing that widespread public mistrust of institutions. A lot of this fear that has been embedded in the citizens of Uganda has caused them to have a mistrust with institutions. So a lot of them have lost hope, they've given up, they think there's no point to voting or having a say because they know how it's going to play out. And many citizens have been conditioned to believe that their poverty is a result of personal failings. They speak on how this is bad luck and how it's just misfortune, but they're not educated on how this is a result of how their government has failed them and how it's continuing to fail them. Speaking out is also very dangerous in Uganda. When corruption is normalized, anti-corruption movements struggle to gain traction. Corruption is a normalcy in Uganda. Unlike in the United States where something like this happening would cause an outrage, in Uganda, many people have grown up with Museveni as president, and this is all they've ever known. So telling them that it could be different would be hard to get them out of that mindset. So the path forward and what we can do to change this. We need a mind shift among officials in all different regions. Citizens should be viewed as purpose of governance and not tools of personal gain. Educating the public about the true causes of the immense poverty and poor services that they have been subjected to by their own government, understanding that this isn't just bad luck, but a result of poor governance. Raising both national and international awareness through social media, and this is where we can engage our youth a lot and bring about a big change. And you see this in different ways. Every day we wake up and there's a hashtag going around for a different country and talking about the problems that they're facing. We can do that with Uganda as well, have Uganda be a main topic, and that can bring about a huge change. Resistance and protest, as well as the protest vote that we are speaking on as well, could eventually create change. Though this might cause an escalation before causing improvement, I think it's something that we would need to go through so we can see a better Uganda. Lastly, I would like to say united citizen movements can dismantle even entrenched corrupt regimes. Having a united front can really bring Uganda change. Thank you so much for having me today. And my name is Kasuku one more time.
Thank you. People power. People power. People power. Our power. People belongs to. People belongs to. Power belongs to. Is it true in Uganda? Is it true in Uganda? How can we do that? Question comes to you and me. How are we going to turn power to people? I'm going straight. My sister, she has mentioned everything, but I'm going to elaborate more in the Runyoro Rutoro Runyakore Ruchiga. Ndugusaida Munyoro, I'm a Munyoro. My name is Gisa Ahmad Abraham. I'm a Munyoro, Mutoro, mixed up. But I'll try to mix both languages, Runyakore, Ruchiga. Owakamera, njagalo recording eminemi. Banitwale abantu bowaitu basobole okubiwuura ebyenkubaza okyalati. Mukama waitu nkwinja kusooka kukozesa ekigambo kiitwe tukagamba Mukama waitu asiimwe kokwe musajja mulokole. Mukama waitu asiimwe. We welcome you all who are here in this diaspora for this wonderful or a trademark. Let this day be a day marked to change Uganda, not just to change, but to remove all ways of dictatorship. I have a few points which I'm going to go through, but I want you all. One, we talked about health. Tubalizeewo habyobwomezi. Abantu ba Bunyoro, abantu ba Tooro, abantu ba Mbarara, n'ahandi itwena kati twale mu Western. Inywe Abaganda, Abaganda n'abalala mulowooza tuli bulungi. We are the people who are really badly off. Nizo tukusingayo kuba kubi. Ngwenda kutandikira kujja kukwazayo omuntu omu okumanya ali popular oba abeera ali w'amaanyi akaba ali musajja muziri bamwetaka kigamba alaali. Abamugulire omusobola okuba nimumumanya. Omusajja ogwo akaba ali muziri yazinaga bintu ebikukwata Ihanga. As we see our president Robert Kyagulanyi. That man, he was a Kyagulanyi in Western region. If they ask you how he died, akafankemo. Akahika muliwao. Ekienda kiesibi, nti ebyoma tibyogeze, ebyokumusemeza. How can kweli mugulole kukingi? Nti ebyoma the equipments are not cleaned. So, someone who was supposed to clean the equipment was not on duty. Can that be an excuse? And the man died. Omusajja yafa. Hagokuba akabatali mulayini eri. Obw'okuba toli side ya gavumenti okuyisana akahuka. We are like insects. Do we want to stay as insects? No. Can you rise? You people who are in diaspora here, you have a chance. You can speak. No one is going to touch on you. Let me leave that part. Let me go on another part. most people they complain that Western we are okay, we are not. Let's go on the last scenario which has just happened on our brother Eddie Mutundwe. I'm sorry if I use the wrong word, Muranganyira. Ono mutabani wa Kanyomusala. Yarugayo openly tininyowe mwine mu basement. Maybe you know that mu diaspora mu kuhagira Museveni. Busima, there is that feeling. Chichi. Ni orugayo kanyega ndiyo manyakole. Really? And your fellow manyakole are torturing people. And you get pride of what? What have you done to see the country become a proper country whereby we can all fit in and do something? You are nothing you can eat. You can drink. You can come in this wonderful place. Inkwenda mungambire inywe. Bazere banyu bakajya kamushwe kamkakiri bayira bazere banyu bagenda asere na hoteli Kampala bayinga. Mwana timukufayo. I'm talking to you. I will not talk to both of you. Mugambe bagenzi banyu. Tell your brothers back at home. Open their ears, their mind. How can someone torture someone to come out openly? Maybe you will and you also say you're Ugandan, and you also say you're human being. You have a heart. You feel what that person is feeling, ringing. Let us open up. Let us start something which can change Uganda. If we don't do it today, don't wait for tomorrow. Education. You went to Nyanseke, Muhoro, Kagadi. Now it is Kagadi district, by then it was Kibali. Abakumanya isomere bitubali etagawe enjunza. Abakumanya olunyo kietegeze. It was, by then it was a school. It was. I'm so proud I was among the best students in the district. I was among. I'm not proud today that school is no longer there. How many MPs are having their kids in UP? It is a UP school. How many? How many people are having their kids in those schools? Apart, everyone is telling we are not called one hour private. However, when you walk up to UP, only access to a million years I saw the you walk up. But what's in here? Every is correct. Sometimes I Ntura Bunikara at the Ekeza. How people wait Bunikara, Yanseke, Mpura Mazeka de Galandaba. They don't feel anything. They don't have that Ubuntu. Africans, we had what they call Ubuntu. Where did that go? My sisters, my brothers, can we have that humanity? Do we have that? Now you're here, you're feeling it. When you leave that door, you become a different person. My brothers, my sisters, let us cooperate. I can tell you in the let us be one. Stop that foolishness. I'm a Munyangore, I'm a Uganda, I'm a Mutoro, I'm a this. That is nonsense. Bobi, tukolere hamwe tusobole kuhindura Uganda. If I'm alone, you can't if you're alone. But I'm saying, boy, don't go as a kid. In your abali, by summer, this time round, but to carry the kid so. Will it ever be at all over working if they don't sit together? But on their together, because they have immune, they go out for treatment. Whether you are white, whether what, then we can change the country. More especially those dictators. I'm winding up. Mongalia, I've took a lot of time, but I feel a lot of pain inside me. I don't know whether you feel what I feel. I've talked about health. Lastly, Embudo. Roads. Kuja kinyo kangandikire mu Kampala na mbere. Kampala, the city of Uganda, is like I can't even laugh. A city, capital city. Nikusana emijogo yowayi tukuyuika muramanya. Ini nyomuika mukutekereza nti tuli kulungi bali tutayina embuudo tituyina embuudo nungiza omuntu bakuba ekikumanyisa n'omulaba n'amagwa abatalo ombuudo omuntu tajja kuika bwibwabo. There is no roads. Omuntu wa Mbeefu, omuntu wa Lukashara, omuntu wa Buhimba. Let me say this one also. Yesterday, one of my best friends, abantu bange bekiro, abeebateerera ku mulipo mu byabo, bamutomere kati wazo emotoka ekaba abantu bakyali batira muloole. 19 people died because they had no way they can reach to the hospital. But we gave a one Peter. 19 they died because there was no any first aid. They took 6 hours to reach at the hospital. They died. Yesterday, Mkuru sasa wiki. Iwe owali upani. Kansala. Chairman Fani. Men when abali no souls, let us work together for the better Uganda. Then we will come up with people power, our power, LUB, everywhere. Thank you, Comrade Abraham. But then the pain is a lot. What will we want? Let's give him a round of applause. Thank you so much, Comrade Abraham. I respect the fact that, however much sometimes we let stuff down, sometimes, we tend to get busy on those meetings that we always hold on Wednesdays at the Boston chapter. That gentleman was be there, lockdown, waiting for the meeting. Thank you for that commitment. Please, let's keep it. And the sister Blessing, she had lectures coming up, so she had to run back to school. But that's very encouraging that she had to spare time and come discuss with us and share with us the knowledge. It's very important as Ugandans to instill the geopolitics that is back home into our children. A lot of parents in America and the diaspora are less concerned about teaching our kids about Uganda. That's the biggest grave mistake. Let me tell you the news about Uganda. Do you believe that the land they use in Israel to grow food was picked from Uganda? So, do you believe that a day in the world they sell 2 billion cups of coffee, and Uganda has one of the best coffee that is sold in the world market?
Do you believe that from the west coast to the east coast, from north to south in America, they tried to plant coffee here, to cultivate coffee here, to grow coffee here, and it failed? In agricultural country, you just throw a seedling, you go back to sleep. After 3 months, you come and grab your leaves and eat. That's how beautiful Uganda is. So, we have to resharpen ourselves, reawaken ourselves, and remember the task we have ahead. It's a huge task, but we have to keep pushing. Ladies and gentlemen, please allow me to invite Mitala Grace Chiwoneka in a small session, then we can take it.
I know what my assignment is. So, people power. Our power.
People power.
NUP.
Everywhere.
Everywhere.
NUP.
Okay, good afternoon to you all. Mine is simple, is to help us focus. Focus on what is in front of us, and this is one major activity that we have to think about as we go through this conference. How are we going to resource the protest votes? That means individually, with friends, communities, and whichever. So, ideas are welcome, but we also need you as individuals to participate. So I just need to reiterate the messages that we put out in the morning. We will keep reminding you, and hopefully by the end of this conference, you would have made a determination of what commitment levels you might be able to participate and additional strategies that you think would be helpful. Okay, we have raffle tickets. Raffle tickets agent, Dr. Harriet Nanyoa. She's my sister. So you look for Grace's sister, that's she. She has raffle tickets, and those are sold $10 for 3 tickets. $10 for 3 tickets. Buy tickets for yourself, for your child, for your grandma, whoever you think about. Get them in the raffle, and then every day at the end of the main event, main activities, we will be having a draw. So hopefully we are ready for today's draw. If not at the end of this particular session, the evening session. So the other piece is pledge cards. The pledge cards are still being organized, but that is for you to think about at what pledge level as an individual. So that's another opportunity to participate, to contribute. On the pledge card, you will see the different contribution levels. The information was being posted on the screen. The pledge levels are 5 gold stars. The lowest gold star, star 1 starts at $30, not $1. $30 to $2.99, you get a gold star certificate. $300 to $5.99, you get 2 gold star certificate. $600 to $14.99, you get 3 gold star certificate. $1,500 to $2,099, 4 gold star certificate. And $3,000 plus, you get the 5 very top executive, very, very extremely executive government. So we encourage you, this is us. So when they say protest vote is to protest everything you don't like about Museveni, including how you're going to fund this campaign. So let him do whatever. Clean out the Bank of Uganda. Let him do. But we are going to do whatever it takes to do that which we must do for ourselves. That's us. We have control of that, and we're going to do it. So we are protesting. We're going to massively mobilize. We're going to massively turn out the campaign, the vote. We have to massively protect that vote and defend it. Uganda. I mean, collective. So that's the idea, that's the attitude. You're protesting with your action. come. But tomorrow we are going to open up this discussion of the protest boards fundraising to our friends that are not yet registered. So that activity during tomorrow is opening, the official opening. During the official opening, we're going to also have a global fundraising kickoff. And the idea is to open our experience here to the friends that are not in the room. So that it's global. Again, we are protesting because Museveni doesn't think that we have minds and ideas and can be creative. And we can do things that he doesn't have to buy us to do. We can do things just because we like to do that. So that's going to happen tomorrow. And we shall keep reminding you and reminding you. But I encourage you, don't be comfortable with the smallness of what you're doing. Agitate and challenge yourselves to do more. And then pray to God to give you discernment and challenge yourself to do more. If you've been contributing 300, contribute 3,000. And then figure out how to do that. We got an idea from Colorado. We can also commit and meet that commitment through installment. So those are all ideas that we welcome more. Thank you so much, Nancy.
Yeah, thank you. We appreciate you. Chakra Soyo, Chilenzo Prime Minister of Ethics and can be a good minister in ethics. Thank you. A round of applause to Chris. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, if you feel comfortable in speaking,